This podcast contains adult language, descriptions of violence, sexual references, and other possibly offensive themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to this episode of Back to the Story, where friends come together to play Dungeons and Dragons. I'll be your DM, Klouse. Let's get started.
If anyone can talk a Balgarth out of a fight, it's you.
If anyone can keep us alive, it's you.
But if you ask me what my calling would be, I'd say that of a defender of my friends.
You don't need to change anything.
I would give my life to see them through.
I apparently only get into trouble when I'm around you lot.
I never want to have that kind of power over somebody.
She lands upon the deck, but just on her toes, like a dancer, like a ballet dancer, as if the weight of sin has yet to fall on her shoulders.
And the light of nature will be brought to them.
We haven't done this before. Does that make us professional?
That would make you amateurs at best.
At best, I like that.
I've had a hard time finding answers in my life.
I'm glad I'm here too.
Where are you from, Ezekiel?
Wherever your wife goes when she dreams, and I'll walk away.
Fuck you and fuck your will.
There's no redemption for the likes of you.
You were never loved as a child.
How do you want to do this? So I'm going to take that as a glowing yes, and we will begin. Chapter 34, Road Less Traveled. Previously, after defeating the Amber Witch and the Flesh Golem within the nearby Verdana Crypt, the Bronze Scales deliberated on whether to stay or go, deciding to camp away but nearby to lick their wounds. Over the next few days, the Scales made their way back to the idyllic hamlet of Hamel, discovering that Indigo had ripped Clyde's throat out before running away. Clyde was being buried beneath his favorite apple tree on his farm. The Scales returned to the pillar outside of the village, with Vesper willing Aine to remove the magic after Kalvyn and Ball heaved the chains from the pillar itself. While this was happening, Ezekiel began a rain dance and ritual to help nourish the plant life here, succeeding after a long day of channeling the spirits of nature. At night in Hamel, with some enjoying the communal party barn for the last time before heading north towards Birch Grove. Along the way, the building storm rolled in, Ellory hearing its thundering voice familiar yet reverent. Along the path, the slain bodies of several bugbear were found, just before a small force of Gaussian revealed themselves, looting the bodies before leaving. Arriving into Birchwood, you were met with open uneasiness with the sight of your half-giant Ball. Tensions rose with the guards and the Donna who accompanied them. Just averting conflict, the Bronze Scales were turned away, deciding instead to move around the small city, Ezekiel briefly visiting the dungeons before leaving. With a brief respite in a strangely familiar temple of a nature spirit, the Bronze Scales pushed onward on the road towards Endera until a caravan of refugees crossed your path. Apparently, the War Child and her hounds of Western had already landed, discovering Ludwig the Red to have occupied Endera, slaying the Duchess there. We come back to the story here. It's been a few days since you left the trail towards Endera, cutting straight through wilderness towards Briarbridge among the withered woods and Nymenet beyond. The sun has begun to set, though light still remains cascading over the skies cleared from the storm days ago. You've just passed by Whitestone ruins, shifting around them, finding your boots clanging upon a strange green-blue glass dome, half buried beneath your feet. The forest of oaks is thick here, with grasses rising beneath, moss-covering scatterings of stone. A strange crisp wind approaches, rippling through the trees, causing the hanging axinous moss to pulse like a serpent through water. What would you like to do?
I want to try and see if I can see anything.
Sure, make a perception check.
Perception.
I'd like to as well.
Everyone make a perception check.
We're rolling so well.
19.
9.
6.
I got a 19, guys. Amsen's paying attention.
You guys look around. You see the wind pushing through the hanging moss with its red lightning running through it. You see the rippling of the grasses beneath and the boughs of the trees. But you don't see anything in particular. No birds, no animals. Just the wind rolling through the trees.
We should move off of this
whatever it is underneath us.
What is it?
Looking down, it looks like you stand upon a dome that's been at least half or more buried within the ground. The dome maybe before was maybe 50 feet across, though only about a third of it remains above ground, most of it buried to seem just like a simple hill. The glass is apparently thick. It's opaque. You can't quite see through it, though it appears there's something beneath it, and is a greenish blue in color.
I'm not a learned man, but is this anything that I have heard of from here?
You can make a history check.
Definitely not proficient in that, but it is... Oh, a 19 again. I'm rolling well.
Judging by the nearby white stone ruins that you've avoided by moving around, this seems to be likely part of that structure. Those structures had to do with the Vumeri, the ancient first elves. They are no longer on this world or have changed into the elves you have now. Their structures, technology, magic, weapons were all incredibly advanced. But their society and civilization fell into ruin long ago. This is all that remains.
I'll relay what little I know about them to the group. And
my interest is piqued, but so is my sense of caution.
We know there's supposed to be bugbears somewhere around here. Do you think they might have set up shop in these ruins here, or built something of their own?
Do we know anything about bugbears?
What in particular?
Do they tend to, do they tend to just reclaim settlements, or do they kind of make their own?
I'll say that would be a nature check.
Okay. That's a 12.
Okay. You know more than the average person. You know they're not simply dumb, mindless monsters. They are intelligent to some degree, but you're not sure to what extent. They have their own culture and civilization to some extent, though barbaric it may be.
I'll look at Ellory and shrug.
Do I see any signs of smoke or hear any noise or anything that could indicate that there's somebody currently living in those ruins?
All you can see right now is the partial bit of this glass dome that you're standing upon, shifted around from the white ruins. You could go closer to inspect, but from where you are, you can't see the ruins anymore. They're behind trees.
Are there any cracks in the dome?
Taking a brief look, you don't see any immediately. Looks like the glass is pretty thick, but you can give me an investigation check if you want to take a few minutes.
Sure. 14.
Okay. Looking over it, it doesn't appear that the glass seems to be broken. You can see pieces of it where it was cracked, but within that investigation check, it looks like the glass is probably a solid 6 inches thick. Erosion has occurred, but nothing enough to shatter it. Judging by the height of the ruins and where you are now and how buried this is, it seems like the entrance would be closer to where the other ruins are, though this is separated to some degree from the other ruins. What may have once been a surface entrance is now more likely closer to a basement-like entrance.
I mean, if y'all want to go exploring, we can certainly try that.
I don't know, it's getting dark.
And underneath the shiny dome might be a good place to stay for the evening.
I have to admit I'm a little bit curious.
I mean, I'm at full capacity for my magic, so...
I'm always up for an adventure if you are.
Well, why don't we head back to the ruins, see if we can find an entrance. And once we get a look inside a bit, we can decide what we want to do.
Let's not go too quickly, though, and see if we can get a look for any signs of life there before we go rushing in.
Actually, if you have a moment for me to try a spell, I kind of want to try something I haven't yet, but I've been practicing.
Sure.
And I will take out the dragon dice that I bought, the dragon bone dice, and I'm going to cast Augury and see if this is a good idea or not.
Okay, what is the idea to explore this?
Yeah, to go through and explore and find a place to sleep tonight.
Okay. Do you roll something? God, I can't.
No.
This is just, you just do
Sorry,
it.
I don't have the digital stuff. But yeah, by casting dragon bones I receive an omen from an otherworldly entity, presumably Ayin, about the results of a specific course of action you plan to take within the next 30 minutes. The spell doesn't take into account any possible circumstances that might change the outcome, such as the casting of additional spells or the loss or gain of a companion.
Okay. As you throw the bone dice, you throw a couple of them. It looks like there's one that's negative, there's a couple that are neutral, and there's a couple that are positive. There is one negative, so it looks like there's the chance that something not so good might happen, but it looks like in general, as it stands, this might be a neutral, possibly positive course of action.
That was extremely unhelpful. Well, it seems like it's mostly a good idea. It's not a terrible idea, at least. But we should definitely be cautious.
Well, if it's not a terrible idea, then we should definitely do it.
I'm game.
All right. Circle back by the ruins. Quietly, maybe?
Yeah, let's approach quietly at first to look for any signs of occupation, in case the bugbears have set up there, or anything else for that matter. And then if it looks relatively clear, we should still go in cautiously, but might be worth checking out.
Okay, so if you guys are sneaking back towards the ruins, go ahead and give me a stealth check.
23.
19.
18.
5. Sorry, finding my buttons. 10.
Okay, so overall, you're able to kind of balance out and help some that are maybe a little bit more clanky. Once you get off the glass dome, it's a lot easier to be quiet, even in heavy metal. The more quiet of you are able to kind of guide through and avoid some of the branches and other things that might make noise as you're walking, sneaking back around and towards the ruins. You can see these white arches that are kind of just piercing through some of the trees. As you get closer, you're maybe 40 feet or so from the ruins as of now, and you haven't seen any movement or anything so far. Do you continue to push forward? Okay. So continuing along, you kind of begin to cut through the trees. Then you hear a voice. All right, that's enough. What's your business here? As you see a individual step forward, male, in what looks like heavy armor, has a large axe over his shoulder, just kind of resting there. You can see the individual has white hair that flows back from a widow's peak, a kind of half-shaven 5 o'clock shadow of white hair, with vibrantly light eyes, nearly white or silver. It's getting close to sunset currently. It's still light enough for you to see, though probably in the next 30 minutes or so you will need light.
When he says that's enough, what are you doing here? Amsen will simply state, mere curiosity.
You see the Axeman look over to the side, nods towards something to the side, and looks back at you. All right, well, if you come unarmed, if you come in peace, well, we're not seeking a fight.
Sounds fair.
Do I believe him when he says this?
Make an insight check.
That is an 8.
He seems sincere enough. It almost seems like the words are coming not from him, and he's definitely still gripping the handle, ready in case things go wrong.
Kalvyn will step forward, not in a non-hostile posture, towards the voice. Non-hostile.
Non-hostile, okay.
He's non-hostile. He's trying to be. I was going to say not with his weapons up, and then you know what I mean.
That double negative made my heart stop for a second.
So as Kalvyn steps up,
he rushes in to kill him. No, I'm sorry.
This guy kind of slides his axe down and uses it more to lean on as you get closer. Name's Adelar. He puts his hand out to shake yours.
He does the warrior grip thing, grabs his forearm. Kalvyn, son of Klein. These are my friends. We're known as the Bronze Scales.
We're with Son of Severe. This way. And he turns and begins walking into the ruins.
Kalvyn follows. Maybe he looks over at the rest of them, like, I made a friend, and then runs off.
Do the rest of you follow as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So he leads you
giving
in.
Kalvyn a thumbs up.
I'm definitely looking around cautiously.
Sure. So you guys are moving in through the ruins. You can see the remains of maybe walls, the remains of maybe there were buildings in the past. Though it looks like generally most of these structures were open air. It doesn't look like there were ever roofs to any of these structures, though you can see the remains of numerous ones growing thicker and more connected the further you get in. As you begin to follow Kalvyn, you see whatever he was nodding out to the side was an individual. A younger man, a male, maybe 16, 17 years old, baby face, with that white, stark white hair, but clean face. He's wearing lighter leather armor and has a bow, currently unnotched. They kind of folds in behind you.
These people, do they look like the guy in the woods we met?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
After a minute of just heading into these ruins, another individual appears, kind of standing at the top of some of these stairs, of these white stone stairs. This one seems to be in medium, like chainmail-like armor with a skirt of armor. And she looks maybe a little older, a little grizzled. She holds a spear and has a few javelins on her back. She kind of has her arms folded. I don't know, who are these? Well, what was it? Looking towards you, Kalvyn. The scales?
The bronze scales.
All right. And they don't seem to be in any sort of trouble. And she kind of looks back towards the archer at the back. He kind of shakes his head, shrugs. All right. She steps up. My name is Serana. I'm a son of Severe. I'm here to protect and ensure nothing goes wrong. If you're here not to start any trouble, our employer has no problems with you being here. But if anything goes awry, if there's any claim to be made upon any knowledge or artifacts or anything of the sort, our employee will get first dibs. Clear?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Good.
You were here first.
Correct. She heads back up the stairs, and as you follow her, you can see there's sort of a upper knoll of grass, where you can see the white arches form almost a circle, what looks like some sort of primary central point to this entire ruins and whatever city or town it was before. You can see a couple tents, a campfire set up, a few barrels and other supplies set up. Looks like they've made camp here and have been here for at least a few days. You can see coming out of the tent an older man, wearing fine but worn clothes, a long coat with a deep green sash across his shoulders. He has short hair combed back from the widow's peak, similar gray-white hair, a trim goatee of the same color. He kind of approaches. He looks like he's maybe 50-something.
Hello? Are you here to inspect the ruins?
I can assure you I've been at this for a few days now. My name is Cryptologist Isel.
I think mostly we were just hoping to find a bit of shelter and see if there was anything interesting here.
Oh, we have a ruin of the Vulmer here. There's plenty interesting as far as shelter. Well, there's no roofs, but you're welcome to camp out around here. You seem no problem. If you're not going to be a problem, of course.
We
Not
have
at all.
no plans to be.
I normally worry when I see a group of armed individuals and a large Goliath. But our friend here, and he points towards the scout archer, has proven to be quite a good judge of character, and so I will follow his lead. Well, I'm all done investigating for the night. I'm going to get some rest here after dinner. Feel free to explore. I haven't found any traps or anything like that as of yet. Just the impenetrable entrance. I'm making progress. Well, let me get to it. And he goes back into his tent, grabs some things, and begins to cook dinner over the fire for himself.
Well, I guess I would like to suggest that we find just a place to camp first, and then maybe we should figure out what we can do about this impenetrable entrance.
For the record, I hate all of you. Anyway, yeah, I can... Do we want me to pop some good berries for the day?
Probably a good idea.
Alright, I'll mark off the spell. Everybody gets one so that we're fed.
Well, not bugbears, so that's good.
Yeah. We weren't murdered on sight, so...
Hey, Amsen, maybe you'll get a chance to learn a story or two while we're here.
Yes, that would be wonderful. I'm unfortunately missing out on a couple of towns, so...
Anyway, I'm interested in this door he thinks he can't get open, but if we want to go take a look at that, I mean, I don't really mind giving him first dibs on whatever we claim in there, but we tend to have some interesting ways of getting into places.
All right. See what we can do.
Do we want to go ahead and take a look at that now, or...?
Might as well. Formulate a plan over the night and do whatever it is in the morning.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys, after eating and discussing, you head up towards the center of where these arches are. It looks like there are the tallest arches in this area, sort of in a circle on a white stone platform. On the center of this platform is a pillar. It's maybe 6 feet tall, of similar white stone with strange glyphs and inscriptions all over it. It almost looks as if they've been carved on top of one another. You can see on the arches surrounding it, you can see various carvings of individuals and other symbols and glyphs. It looks like there's been a stool placed here, a few empty bottles where it looks like someone spent a lot of time here.
Are the glyphs in any language we understand? Probably not.
I know someone speaks it, so I'll just say it. It's in Sylvan.
Okay.
An old version of Sylvan, but Sylvan.
So then that's me. And Ball, maybe? Does Ball read?
I'm not sure. I'll wait for him.
I think he's here.
I think
Ball's here.
Ball can read well enough. Like, he's not some scholar by any means. But I don't know if Ball would be able to recognize Sylvan. I don't really know how that would work. Like, I know we've had that kind of strange encounter in terms of understanding Sylvan, but I don't know about reading it. So I'll leave that up to you.
So, as you guys inspect and look over, you see these runes and glyphs engraved all over it. You can sort of see a bit of glow, and it's Ball and Ezekiel will pick it up first. It's not, to the rest of you, at first it looks just like trace glowings of various runes. But as night begins to fall and darkness comes, the glow becomes brighter, easier to see, and Ball and Ezekiel can see their words. And Ball, you've never seen this script before, but you understand it. You can see one phrase carved over the center and top. You can see the phrase, "Taste the bite of nightmare's fire."
Does that have any religious meaning?
You can make a religion check if you'd like. You can also take 10 on it if you want.
I will do a religion check.
Okay.
For the equivalent of taking a 10. 12.
Okay. So you see this phrase, and it's carved above the picture of what looks like a horse. A few of them. As far as a religion check, taste the bite of nightmare's fire doesn't make any religious bells ring in your mind.
Actually, does Ball recognize that he's reading Sylvan?
Yeah, I think you would. I think you recognize this is not common. You're not sure maybe how you understand it, but you understand it.
So maybe I'll just say, let's say I'm by or near Ezekiel, and we kind of both make eye contact because we notice it. And I look to Ezekiel and say, "I know I'm not supposed to, but I can read that."
Well, that makes sense a little bit. I mean, you can understand it when I speak it. Somehow you just know. Anyway, I'll translate it for the rest of the party so that they can think of what it means.
As night falls a bit darker, as you're considering this, you see another phrase appear below it. "Winter's white brings nightmares of terror and fright."
I can understand it, but I don't understand it.
Well, he's the bad nightmare's fire, winter's white. Oh.
You don't suppose it has something to do with Daphne?
Not the white that I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
Amsen, make an Arcana check.
Sure. I can use luck, because that was a nat 1. That's a 16.
Okay. So judging over what you've gone over with Meli, with scrolls, you can see in the pattern, and she kind of points and she's like, look. And as you look, you see there are patterns in the glyphs and symbols that articulate some sort of ability to take in magical energy and not just put out. This is similar to energy you would put into a spell scroll in order to activate it. It seems that parts of this pillar are designed to be able to take in magical energy to some effect you do not know, but there's a pattern to it. And right now you see one input glyph, so to speak, revealed nearby and upon the horse below these phrases.
So I have a question. And the horse is like a symbol of a horse, right? It looks like a horse.
It looks like a horse. Its mane is long and flowing.
Okay.
Its feet has similar like trails of smoke or something coming off of it.
Then my question is, because I know something that Amsen may or may not, does Amsen know what a nightmare is?
Make an Arcana check, I'll say.
Yeah. That is a 17.
Okay. You've heard stories of these, and you have heard enough to believe they might be a real thing. That it's not just scary stories. There are real entities from beyond this plane that are horses with magical energy you do not know.
Okay. Then I will tell the party that I believe that the pillar can absorb magical energy, and it might, specifically according to the translated message, want the magical energy of a creature known as a nightmare, a otherworldly horse being.
And how are we supposed to have a nightmare here?
I have no idea, but that is the connection that I am making, and I could be wrong.
Well, the second line of whatever this is said that winter's white bring nightmares. So it seems almost like it's a chain. We need one thing to bring another thing to provide the energy for activating whatever this is.
Breathe fire on the pillar or something.
Do we want to try just like regular fire?
I tried that already. As you see the old man kind of leaning against one of the arches, just watching. The results were are not ideal. And he kind of shows a hand that's been wrapped up, clearly burned.
Was it magical fire?
Not from me, but the response seemed to be yes.
Ball will walk up to it and try to begin to touch it. So it sounds like something's gonna...
If I notice Ball doing that, I'm going to be like, wait, we can do this from a distance. I can do this from a distance. So that you don't get burned.
Ball will stop mid-stride, kind of take a step back, and nod at you.
Hard cut to all of us hiding while Ellory slides up a shot.
Do y'all do so? Do y'all back away?
Yeah.
Okay. The old man scrambles and like gets behind two walls and just kind of peeks over.
I look at him first. How far away did this fire seem to be able to reach?
I was standing right next to it, so at least 3.5 feet, I'd say.
Okay, so hard to say. It might have a longer range than that.
It soaked it in and then whipped out. It happened very quickly, and I didn't try it again.
Okay, everybody behind something then. And I'm also going to kind of be kind of hanging sideways from behind a wall before I cast Firebolt.
You slam it into the input that Amsen points out. You see the energy soaks in. You can see it holds within the horse. Are you just peeking over the edge? Okay. You see the energy kind of flaming out of its mane and upon its hooves, just glowing there.
It's not a good sign. More?
You try it again.
What I'm worried is what happens if we get up close to it now. It may just be holding until there's a target.
Well, Meli, or Amsen, do either of you see any more of those input glyphs? Did anything else pop up?
DM?
If you would have to get closer to see. You can't see anything from hiding.
How far away are we?
Ranging
Ellory's
from
range.
Her range is insane, but Yar anywhere from maybe 15 to 30 feet out, depending on how far you wanted to get. It's more about Yar behind walls and stuff.
Okay, I'm going to get a little closer, about within 20 feet, but behind stuff, and I'm going to throw a dagger at the wall. So it's some kind of target.
It hits the pillar and kind of falls to the ground.
Ellory tried to maybe put more fire into it.
Okay, I'll try that.
As you step out to sling it, give me an attack roll this time.
That's not great. That's 9.
9? Okay. Your bolt flies out. Actually just barely skims over the pillar to the right, slamming into the part of the archway on the other side. And what is your attack modifier?
6.
Okay. So that's a 22. As you just peek out to do that, it slings across. And as your flame leaves your hands, the energy of the horse coalesces and then forms into a firebolt, slinging at you. You do have +5 to cover because you're behind 3 quarters. Does a 22 hit you, though?
Yes, it does.
It slams into your shoulder before you're able to duck down, dealing however much your normal spell would deal. 2d10, I think.
Oh, goody. Let's see what that ends up being. 13.
As it slams into your shoulder as you duck back down.
Ow!
Gods of
shit.
All right, hang on. I'll get over to her. I'm going to cast Cure Wounds.
Peeking out, looks like the energy of the pillar has faded.
So it sends back.
You.
Well,
that's more than 13. You're good.
We're more of a see it for ourselves kind of people.
I feel like we learned something here today.
Did we?
I'm not sure what, but I think we learned something. Thanks, Vesper.
What if we try a gentler fire?
I'm not sure if he just did a torch, and then Ellory tried that. Sir, these words here, the winter's white, almost looks like it's referring to something specific. Do you know what that is?
Well, I believe it refers to stories about a winter white, something that only comes in the winter. A nightmarish creature. Just stories. I'm not sure what relationship it would have to a nightmare. I've never heard of a story of it one riding a nightmare, though it would stand to reason it would be terrifying and frightful.
DM, is it spring now? Have we just gone to the spring part of the cycle?
Yeah, you're in spring.
Okay, so they're just going to have to suck it up and wait a year, it sounds like.
Was there only one of these glyphs at all, or just one that's been activated, or that seems to be receptive so far?
There were carvings all over and glyphs, but this is the only one that appeared so far.
Maybe we need to start with fire and then add something else.
Well, it says right here, winter. Do you have something older?
I don't. But
Meli
I look at
does.
Meli.
Okay. She gestures for you all to kind of get in position, get behind something. The ice shatters, but some of it sticks. Kalvyn, you raised your hand?
Yeah, I was going to say, would it be possible for Kalvyn to, like, in anticipation of what happened to Ellory, kind of stand in front of Meli to block? Cool.
Yeah, you move over to her before she does so with your shield ready. As some of the ice shards fall to the ground, some of it sticks. You see it glows. You see ice frosting over the pillar and coming down to the ground and frosting over in patterns of snowflakes, it looks like, from this distance along the platform the pillar sits upon.
What?
As you see the kind of old man like beginning to peek over and beginning to climb over, stumbling, heading towards the pillar.
Wait. Ellory, go ahead.
I think it might need both. So I cast Firebolt again.
As this happened, the ice and the fire both fade, leaving the pillar and the platform done once more.
What?
Maybe
Why?
fire first, then ice?
No, you.
He points towards Meli.
Do the ice thing. I saw something.
She does.
Okay. Katie should be here, shouldn't she? This guy gets close as he dares. This guy gets close as he dares as Meli shoots another ice with Kalvyn ready. It refrosts the pillar and the ground. And as you peer out, you can see the ice climbs up, revealing symbols and images upon the arches and more upon the pillar. You'd have to get closer to see. But they remain after you wait a few moments.
I think Amsen will go in and get closer to inspect the pillar now that it's iced.
Yeah, and
I'll kind of stay near them just in case they need healing.
Sure. And stepping closer, nothing fires back at you. It remains. As you come closer, you can see the icy symbology that has revealed itself on the arches to be symbols of humanoids with pointed ears, hair, sharp features, elves, but androgynous in an elven form you haven't seen before. These ancient elves symbols watch from the arches, the walls of them peering towards you. You see another phrase, Amsen, as you get closer, in a language you don't understand appear. Looks like there's another input glyph.
Can Ezekiel and Ball read it?
Yeah, as you get closer, this one says, "Ward thee from sight."
I will translate and look at Amsen.
All right. So I'll go over to where that other input symbol is, and I'll stand next to it, and I'll start to cast an invisibility spell.
Okay. So you all watch as Amsen approaches and begins to cast this invisibility spell. As he does, he disappears. Amsen, you cast and finish the spell, but everything you see is now changed. You see everything is faded in a bluish light, though the sky is dark. You can see night stars overhead, a full moon, yellow, violently yellow, above. The light of this moon cascades directly down upon you like a liquid. As it runs over the pillar, it reveals more words and symbols unseen that you cannot translate it. You see yet another input glyph, and the symbology of a moon on the pillar, a gazing face.
Amsen, can you hear us?
Can I?
You cannot.
Cool. Amsen in the... Well, actually, invisibility lasts a while.
If I reach out, can I touch where he was?
You don't find him.
Bye, guys. Amsen is going to take out a book from his pack and start to write down the symbols as best I can, since I can't read them.
Okay. Give me a dexterity check.
Do I get Jack of all trades?
Yeah, you would. Sure.
Use luck again, because that was a nat 3. And that's significantly better. That's a 17.
Okay. You try to run over it at first, and it just tears the paper. You try again, this time being careful, gliding along, and you get what looks like a pretty good representation of these symbols.
Okay. Then I'm going to stop concentrating on the invisibility spell.
Amsen appears, visible, before you once more. Kind of lands where Vesper you were feeling for him and pushes you out of his space.
Oh, hello. That was excellent. That was definitely the right thing to do. However, I don't read Sylvan. So, and I'll grab the book and I'll show it to Ezekiel. I think this is right.
Ezekiel, you see the phrase, under waking eye, and Ball would see this, under waking eye, sleep, not tire.
Under waking eye, sleep, not tire. We could try and sleep someone. But that seems dangerous to turn them invisible, put them in another realm, and have them fall asleep.
Maybe that's the point. Or maybe it just has to be in that order, right? It doesn't have to be the same person. Oh, shit. We have to go to sleep. Nightmares.
Do we need someone to watch over us? Under the eyes may be these elven things.
There was also a symbol with of a moon with a face on it.
Not ringing any bells for me. Well, do we try sleeping here? Do we try going to the other side and going to sleep after the invisibility? Maybe just one of us tries to sleep.
That would probably be best.
Is it possible for two people to go invisible and see if they both show up in this place?
If I empower my invisibility, I can make more than one person turn invisible. So who wants to try this out? I think that I should, because I will have to concentrate on the spell. And if I'm concentrating it, I simply just forgot about the spell in order to come back. If I'm there, then I can drop it and bring us back quickly.
But you can't read it.
I can't read it. So we need probably myself. If I think I can do 3. Somebody who has a spell to put somebody to sleep. And someone who can read Sylvan.
I can't put people to sleep anymore.
I start looking through my herbs and see if I have anything that might help.
I don't mind going. I can read it.
Meli has sleep.
Meli has sleep. So, Amsen, Meli, and Ezekiel, then.
And I can actually make it pretty easy for her to put me to sleep.
Be careful.
There you go. Don't worry.
It's my job to worry.
Easier said than done.
Alright. Meli, Ezekiel, come here. I need to lay my hand upon you, and then I can turn you invisible.
Alright.
Okay. So you all step together in front of the input glyph. Amsen, do you cast invisibility?
I cast a 4th level invisibility.
Okay. Doing so. All 3 disappear from the side of the rest of the scales, as all 3 reappear in this other land with a darker night sky and a gleaming golden yellow moon above, streaming light down upon. You see the symbols are revealed as the yellow light, like liquid, rolls down upon the glyphs. You see the symbology of the star, dark and black, half of it, and the other half a golden sun. Oh, nope, I lied. Sorry. You see the moon with a gazing face, and you see the phrase, now translated by Ezekiel, under waking eyes, sleep and not tire. Sorry, I forgot where y'all got.
No, it's fine. So I will go ahead and turn myself into a ferret, so that my HP is minuscule, so that Meli can, with an easy level 1 spell, put me down.
Should I just do him?
I need to concentrate on the spell. If you want to go with him, you can certainly try.
Alright, I'll try. And let's see how many 8s that is. She's going to try to come with you. So 5d8, she'll use a 2nd level spell. 7d8, will that even do her? It might. Let's see.
I only have like 1 HP, so...
Yeah, so with that, it might. So Ezekiel in ferret form, you fall out. Meli kind of shifts from side to side, but needed 4 more points. Close. Ezekiel, as you fall asleep, everything goes black until you hear... Hearing this, you're woken. You see Amsen and Meli standing there, looking at you, sleeping, your body, as you're able to almost separate from it. That sound you heard were stairs falling down in a spiral around the pillar. You can see translucent the stair and pillar and the platform remains in place, but whatever deeper layer you're on, it is removed and dropped, revealing a stone spiral staircase around the pillar, deep.
I guess I'm going down. Am I still ferret?
You're still ferret.
Okay, cool.
So you hop down each stair, going around. You see the pillar seems to get larger, wider. The diameter of the staircase gets wider as well. As you come down to the bottom, revealing a small room, a half-crescent room with rounded walls. In front, you see a doorway, perfectly circular, just a few inches above the ground, reaching up maybe 7 feet. Behind you, on the wall of the pillar at its base opposite the door, you see a symbol, half of a dark black star and the other half a golden sun. You see words in Sylvan below it. Ancestors guide thee. Do not fear night.
Ancestors guide thee. Do not fear night. I mean, I assume that means it's going to get real dark in there. Can I shift back into my person form?
You do. You're still semi-translucent as you look at your form, but you're in your humanoid form once more.
Okay. And there's the door. Is there any kind of input? Can I open the door? Let's start there.
Moving to the door, there's no handle, there's no crack. There's looks like a stone slab that has been perfectly implanted into a circular hole. As you're inspecting it, you see a glow behind your shoulders. As you turn around, you see the half of the black star is glowing. It's glowing black. You've never seen such a thing, as if it's drawing in the night. You see on the other side the sun symbol that's beginning to glow as well, bright, radiant, yellow, and golden. You see the energies building as if something's going to happen. One or both of these is going to occur as it's slowly building.
Can I cast light on it? Maybe the dark side?
Okay. Do you do so?
Yes. I try that.
Okay. You come producing light for the darkness. And as it gets closer, the light and the darkness seem to interact like two magnets that want to repel each other, being pushed and forced together. The energies not wanting to mix, not wanting to coalesce. The light gets brighter from your hand, as does the darkness get darker as you force them together. It culminates in a brief flash of light. As it comes back to your vision, unblurs. You're standing in the crescent room, dusty, white stone beneath your feet. You're no longer translucent. The stairs are not fallen down. You look up and see the ceiling, but the energy no longer glows from these glyphed pieces of the black star and the sun. Feeling around, you can feel the physical world, it seems, once more.
I'll light up my staff, I guess, and try and look around.
Make an investigation check.
Is it good? 10.
Looking around, you see the symbols of the star and the sun. You see the door that's still closed. Looking around, there doesn't seem to be much of else in here. There's a few pieces of something on the ground there. You're not sure what. Something that's long since rotten away. Maybe furniture. You're not sure.
Can I try and push on the door in the real world?
You feel it and push. It doesn't move. You can try to push harder if you want to. You can give me an athletics check if you want to try to push it.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and try and do that.
Can Meli and Amsen still see Ezekiel's body with them? Or she disappeared?
So, Ezekiel, as you push, grinding your feet against the stone floor, it slips. You give it every bit of ounce of strength and energy you have, and it doesn't seem to move. You see almost a gloss energy that restrains against your force. There's something magical preventing you from doing this. And as you kind of recollect yourself, looking around to see what to do, Meli and Amsen, in whatever layer you're on, you're watching the breathing and snoring ferret, and it suddenly disappears.
I'll look to Meli. Well, I think he found something. That's either a very good sign or a very bad sign. He's not here, so...
She nods as she begins to study the glyphs and try to find a key. Ezekiel, you're down here apparently in the real world.
Okay, so what does the riddle say this time again? Even though nothing's glowing.
So the riddle at this portion said, "Ancestors guide thee, do not fear night." Though you can see the outlines just faintly, but it seems like the glow is what revealed them. You wouldn't have noticed these faint carvings otherwise.
Okay. Nothing around. I don't know.
You can see on the door, I forgot to describe this, upon the door is a symbol of a tree that branches upward, almost like a hand.
Okay. What do I have that's plant-related today? I don't have much, so first I will try and use the magic I cast Shillelagh with to try and see if that has any effect on the door.
Okay. Casting this magic, do you cast it upon the door, or is that what you're trying to do?
I will try directly on the door first, and then on my staff and touch the door.
Okay. Attempting on the door itself, there seems to be no sort of life with which to cast it upon, but as you do it upon your staff of wood, and as you place it and tap it, there's a brief sheen that disappears. You hear a behind you as well.
Look behind me first.
Okay. So behind you, there was that brief sheen of magical energy upon the pillar itself and the symbols. That is no longer there. What covered outlines and scratches are no longer there as well. You can see a pedestal on each side now, smaller, just at the base between the star and the sun, that you didn't see before, or was hidden from you somehow.
And has anything changed on the door?
The door, the sheen is gone. Okay. Whatever magical energy that was there is no longer.
If I push it, does it open?
It kind of rotates. It seems like there's an axis in the center. Okay. You can see a hallway beyond as you just peek.
All right, I'm going to go back to the pedestals and see if there's a way I can make the staircase real.
One has the symbol of the black star, and one has the symbol of the sun.
I cast light on the symbol of the sun.
Okay. As you do so, you hear as the stairs fall down. The rest of you above, it's been a number of minutes, and you see falling before you a spiral staircase of stones, revealing the staircase down beneath. Amsen and Meli, you see a shimmer, an outline of it. Part of the ground is still there, but you can see an outline shifting below.
So we were by the pillar, and the floor is now stairs. We'll move so that we're not standing over the stairs, and we're on solid floor. Just like pulling Meli over, and then so alright, let's get back to the real world then. And I'll snap and break concentration on the invisibility spell, and yeah.
Amsen and Meli appear behind you as the last of the stairs hits the bottom.
So
what?
Ezekiel.
And this old man is like scrambling over, like looking down at the stairs, has pulled out a notebook and is feverishly marking.
I take it that worked. Where's Ezekiel?
That's a good question. Ezekiel?
Howdy.
We're so good. Well, the door's open, my good sir.
Shall we?
After you.
Well, I'm heading down the stairs.
I will cast light on my holy symbol and follow.
Okay. You guys go down the stairs, seeing this half-crescent room below, with the circular doorway looks like it's been cracked open, revealing a small hallway beyond.
How the fuck did you do that?
I'll roughly discuss the last couple of bits. I was a little afraid it was going to blow up there for a second, but...
To be fair, we have quite a bit of experience in our curiosity and attempt to open things not going so well.
Yeah. I was a little panicked that I was going to starve in here. Turns out, the one place I can't get out of is a stone room with no openings.
I'm very glad you managed to get this open then.
Guess I could have just ate blueberries or good berries until I died of boredom, but...
Oh, that sounds worse than dying of starvation.
I know, right?
You did excellent work, Ezekiel.
Anyway, there's a door open over there if we want to go further.
Has the, what did he call himself?
I am a cryptographer.
Cryptographer.
Yes. Yeah, well,
and he
cryptologist is the same thing. Yes. I am of the Jade Athenium, pleasure to meet your acquaintance. I will write of this.
As he kind of begins scrambling down the stairs, with the axeman in front and the spear woman behind, the archer kind of slowly lets you all go first. As he kind of catches up going down the stairs.
Besides Vumeri in nature, I'm not sure what lies beyond this hallway.
As you can see, the hallway turns into a staircase after not too long, going deeper.
Do you want us to take a look?
I do not have enough funds to pay you. I have my own protection, as you can see. You're certainly welcome to accompany me. I would humbly invite that and beg it.
I'm sure we could come to some kind of arrangement.
Yes, of course.
And he kind of begins, peering beyond the door.
Kanan, would you mind?
And the archer begins to move forth, crosses the doorway, nothing happens, and looks down. Stairs.
Right.
He kind of pulls Ezekiel aside, away from his own guards.
I have a bit of funds, not much. If you would be so kind as to perhaps help with this expedition, I would gladly give them to you. And I could requisition more from my order, but I would have to go there to receive them. I could certainly send them your way.
I just, grab Ellory, reaching and, pulling her over as this conversation is happening, because I don't care.
Oh, are you the individual I should be speaking to? Is it?
He kind of is looking from one to the other to see who's, in charge, as he expects someone to be.
Well, if we're talking money, then I'm the one that you should talk to.
I would give a fair rate. I'm a bit excited and would like to start. Could we discuss this afterwards?
Do I believe that he will follow through?
Make an insight check.
I think I believe that he will follow through because that is a 9.
He seems just super excited to explore and learn and discover. And the question of money is just yeah, whatever, sure.
I do have a request. Could you leave one of your guards here with our friend and our horse? I don't want to leave the one least defensible, and the horse can't really get down here.
I'll do you one better. Ganan, Adalar, stay up there with the woman. Protect her as you would I.
They nod and go up the stairs, the archer and the heavy axeman, remaining the spearman, or the spearwoman, down below with you.
Good.
He looks towards Ezekiel.
Thank you.
Of course. Now, could we...
All right. Sounds good to me if everybody else is in.
Always.
And he starts looking along the walls at the carved symbology of the similar Vumeri ancient elves carved as you begin to trek down the stairs. It's a little early. Do you guys want to take your break now? Or do you want to continue? It's up to you.
Seems like a good spot.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take a break now. We'll come back at, 9:25?
Okie dokie.
I was going to say, as Ezekiel sees Vesper's nervous face.
Yeah, she's not happy about going underground.
He's just going to, hand her the last good berry he has and just be like, it'll be okay.
Thanks.
Next time on Back to the Story.
All of them scatter to dust. But as the energy of radiance flows through the weapon and strikes into him, it is absorbed by the blade. Do you attempt to focus your will upon it?
What did you do? Why? Why? Idiot. Incompetent.
For part 2 of this episode of Back to the Story, you can find it on Stitcher, Google Play, Player FM, or TuneIn. If you'd like to support the show, feel free to buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/backtothestory.